You know, when you think about what makes a story truly great, it's not always the epic battles or the grand speeches. Sometimes it's the small, perfectly crafted moments in between. Today, we're going to break down one of the most brilliant scenes in all of Shakespeare, Act 2, Scene 5 of Romeo and Juliet. It's an absolute masterclass in building tension, and believe it or not, in comedy. So let's dive in and see exactly how he pulls it off. So the scene opens and Juliet is just vibrating with impatience. She sent her nurse to get the message from Romeo, the one about their secret marriage, and she is completely losing her mind waiting. She's like, love's messengers should be thoughts. They should be instant, not, a slow old woman. I mean, you can feel that teenage angst and passion just burning right off the page. And Shakespeare, man, he just sets the stakes perfectly here. It's not just that Juliet is feeling a little impatient, time itself has become her enemy. See, she sent the nurse out at 9 in the morning with a promise she'd be back in half an hour, but the clock has just kept on ticking. 3 hours. It's noon now. Can you believe it? 3 whole agonizing hours have passed. To put that in modern terms, this is like sending the most important text of your entire life and then just watching those 3 little dots appear and disappear for hours on end. It's absolute torture, and Juliet is already at her breaking point before the nurse even shows up. And this is where things get really brilliant, because it sets up the scene's central conflict. On one side, you've got Juliet's vision of love. It's all speed, it's nimble doves and windswift Cupid, it's pure energy. On the other side, you have the reality of her messenger, the nurse, who she imagines is unwieldy, slow, heavy. It's like lightning crashing into a brick wall, the passion of youth versus the slow creaking pace of old age. And then she arrives, the obstacle. The nurse finally walks in, but she's not beaming with good news. No, she looks sad, she looks tired, she looks totally exhausted. I mean, can you just imagine? Juliet's heart must have just plummeted. This is definitely not the triumphant return she was hoping for. And right away, the game starts. Before Juliet can get a single word of actual news, the nurse launches her first move, complaining. She's tired, her bones ache, the trip was just awful. So you have to wonder, what's her game here? Is she just teasing her? Or is she kind of enjoying this little moment of power, holding the key to Juliet's entire future? The tension just gets cranked up another notch. So what comes next? It's not just some random rambling, oh no. This is a deliberate, almost cruel strategy of delay that is also somehow absolutely hilarious. We can actually break down her stalling into 4 distinct steps. It really makes you wonder, is she dragging this out on purpose just to feel needed, to be the center of attention in this huge moment for Juliet? Okay, let's look at step 2. Juliet is desperate to know if they're getting married. And what does the nurse give her? This weirdly specific physical review of Romeo. Yeah, sure, his face is great, his leg is excellent, but he's not the most polite guy. It's so tantalizing, right? It's about Romeo, but it's totally useless information, and it is driving Juliet absolutely bonkers. So Juliet, she just tries to cut right through all that noise, and she asks the only question that actually matters. What did he say about the wedding? But the nurse, oh, she is a pro at this game. She totally ignores the question and just pivots to a brand new ailment. Now it's her head and her back. She even gets Juliet to start massaging her back right there in the middle of the conversation. This isn't just stalling anymore. It's a masterful deflection, and it's so frustrating, but also so funny. She's completely flipped the power dynamic. And just when you think there's no way she can dodge the question again, she hits Juliet with the most baffling, out-of-left-field question in the whole scene. After this big wind-up about how great Romeo is, she just ends with, "Where is your mother?" And Juliet's reaction? Oh, it says everything. She repeats the line back with just pure disbelief. It's the absolute comedic peak of the scene. She's waited 3 hours, she sat through complaints about bones, backs, and headaches, and the big news is that Romeo asked where her mom was? It makes 0 sense, and that's the whole point. The nurse has officially pushed her right to the edge. And just like that, the game is over. Having completely tormented poor Juliet, and let's be honest, probably enjoyed every second of it, the nurse finally gives in, and the whole mood of the scene just flips in an instant, from frustrating comedy to this breathless anticipation. This right here, this is the final key. Have you gotten permission to go to confession today? It sounds like a simple, practical question, but it contains everything. If the answer is yes, the whole plan is a go. And of course, Juliet says yes. And there it is. Bam! The line we've all been waiting for. After all that stalling, all that teasing, the news comes out in one clean, perfect, powerful sentence. Go to the friar's cell. Romeo is waiting there to marry you. And all that tension that's been building and building is just released in this one beautiful moment. And once that dam breaks, everything else just comes flooding out. The nurse is suddenly all business, just laying out the entire plan in a rush. You go get married, and I'll go get a rope ladder so Romeo can climb into your room tonight for your wedding night. Just like that, all her stalling is completely gone. Okay, so let's zoom out for a second and just look at the big picture here. Why does this scene work so incredibly well? It's doing so much more than just moving the plot forward. It's really just a perfect little engine of character, comedy, and drama, all rolled into one. What it all comes down to is this. Shakespeare uses this delay for a brilliant effect. He creates this almost unbearable tension for us, the audience, because we want the news just as badly as Juliet does. And then he mines all that frustration for fantastic comedy, and in doing so, reveals this really real, really funny, and, deeply loving relationship between these two. And all the while, he's reinforcing one of the play's biggest themes, that fiery impatience of youth versus the slow, careful pace of age. And that kind of leaves us with this one last fascinating thought. The actual message, go get married, is just a few words, but the scene isn't really about the message, is it? It's about the agonizing, hilarious, and deeply human journey to get there. It makes you wonder, in our own lives, what's really more powerful? The information we're all waiting for, or the actual experience of the wait itself?